Hi guys, welcome back to The Social Tune, and today we take a look at the latest album from AbSoul, Do What Thou Wilt.
Hey man, what's happening? Another baptism by Pastor Blackcliffe. I'm mashing, cross the masses, my movement massive. Backwards, with the gas in it, roll the raw, I spell it backwards. Throw that whack shit up in the trash can. We don't wanna hear that whack shit no more.
So I've said many times in the past that I'm a massive fan of Kendrick Lamar, but what about the rest of Teedra? Well, out of all of the other members, I can safely say that I'm a big fan of one of them, that being J-Rock. My thoughts on the rest are as follows. SZA is decent, but doesn't seem to have much personality. Isaiah Rashad has a lot of potential, but outside of his EP Still Be a Demo, I haven't loved anything I've heard from him. Schoolboy Q has been consistently really good, with a ton of personality, but in my opinion has never released a great project. And easily the most elusive out of all of them, AbSoul. For the most part, over the past couple of years, I like what I've heard from him. I mean, sure, These Days wasn't very good, but his guest appearances showed a guy with energy, personality, and a little bit of an ego clashing with quite a bit of self-loathing. And of course, lots of drugs. So after hearing his guest verse on Danny Brown's Atrocity Exhibition, one of the best albums of last year, I was definitely interested to hear what he would bring here. What I got was actually very similar to Schoolboy Q's Blank Face LP last year. An overly long album with moments of brilliance and a lot of good ideas that aren't properly explored and therefore lose a bit of their impact. So let's start off with a scattershot, uneven but mostly really good production.
Try to say something new and ain't nothing new to say. Everything been did each and every which way. You ain't never seen it done like this. You ain't never seen it done like this.
When I say this album reminds me of Blank Face, I mean it, because there are moments of brilliance, and then there are moments that are just drawn out for way too long. Let's just get the negatives out of the way. The trap beat on Wifey versus Wi-Fi is just a boring trap snare with some shimmering synths that isn't remotely as interesting as you expect it to be. Portishead in the Morning is supported by a dull, low piano beat, and the stuttering effects on those vocals are not helping. And the transition into the equally dull beat on Her World isn't much better. And even though I like Evil Genius, the ending just goes on and on and on. And finally, The Law and YMF's beats are kind of generic and uninteresting, even though I do appreciate the lyrical content. But even with all of that said, the moments that work are great. Raw Backwards is a great example. Gritty and raw with a killer electric guitar and one hell of a chorus, thanks to Zacari's visceral howling. And the way the choir comes in at the end of that song is hauntingly beautiful. The horns, pianos, and overall creepy atmosphere on Huey Knew is just awesome. The bells on Threatening Nature give this song a gothic swell that reminds me more than a little of Tupac's Hail Mary, which is definitely a compliment. Invocation has some great jazz elements and is probably the closest thing you'll get to Kendrick's recent sound. Beat the Case has a great stalking bass line, which transitions really well into the jaunty, wistful beat on Straight Crooked. D.R.U.G.S has those mournful pianos and a ton of gothic swell, thanks to the haunting background vocals on the chorus, and even the distorted vocals at the end of the song really fit the tone. And again, even though the song refuses to end, I do really like the wheedling beat and background vocals on Evil Genius. And one of the main reasons that song works as well as it does is AbSoul himself, easily the best part of this record. On pretty much every single song here, he brings some of his most energetic bars to date. The best example of this is obviously Raw Backwards, which on top of fantastic instrumentation is just Ab bringing bars upon bars, with some excellent punchlines and a ton of real personality. Even on the lesser tracks like Wifey vs. Wi-Fi, he's still pretty good. If only I could say the same for his guest stars. Easily the best ones are Zacari on Raw Backwards and Schoolboy Q on Beat the Case. But apart from them, well, Bass is pretty decent on Braille, and so is Dash on Huey Knew, but Cocaine doesn't even get a guest first, SZA is phoning it in, DR3 brings nothing new to the table, and Mac Miller and Rhapsody both sound bored as hell. Like I said, AbSoul is easily the most consistent performer here, and even he has his weak points. Which brings us to the big one, the big factor that'll either make or break this album for you, the lyrics.
Last but not least, I love drugs.
AbSoul trying to say with this record? Because there is definitely a theme to this album. Several of the songs are about women, the title is a quote from a Satanist who is promoting anarchy. There's definitely something here. Well, basically, it's an album about embracing everything about yourself, including your most basic and indecent needs. This explains songs like Womonogamous, where Ab is saying that he wants to have sex with lesbians. He's admitting to his audience that he has these thoughts, no matter how unacceptable or repulsive these thoughts may be. He may never act out on these thoughts, hopefully, but he is honest enough to admit that he has them. That brand of naked honesty is honestly very compelling, and I do appreciate it. But some people have made the assertion that this album is empowering to women, and no, I wouldn't say that. What I will say is that AbSoul is trying to be feminist in his own way, but he makes some slight miscalculations. You see, being tasteless is fine, but when he says on Womonogamous that he's faithful to all women, he also says that they should be thanking him for being so forward-thinking, and that feminists should want to have sex with him. And if that wasn't too far, songs about wanting to finger fuck Mother Earth and sticking his thumb up her butt is way too far. And unfortunately, that's not the end of the dumb lines. Like on God's a Girl, he proclaims multiple times, "Come have sex with Jesus." Or the painful, drawn-out joke on Wifey versus Wi-Fi, where the punchline is basically, on old phones, you had to tap 666 to type mom on your keypad. It's a dumb joke, and I hope to God that it is a joke. But on the other hand, when his punchlines do connect, like pretty much every single one on Raw Backwards, they work really well. And plus, this album does have two saving graces. First of all, throughout this entire album, it's made clear that we're not supposed to be taking any of this seriously, which the closer confirms. And secondly, the song D.R.U.G.S is probably AbSoul's best song to date. A haunting, drug-addled trip of a song where he proclaims his love and addiction to drugs. And although this song has a lot of gut-punch lines, the most striking part comes at the very end, where he clearly states that to all those who excuse his drug abuse as just a creative stimulant, no, he doesn't need any of these substances to make his music. He really is just an addict. Brutal, but really appreciated. Fantastic song. But ultimately, is this a good album? Well, yes, it is. The production spans from decent to great, and even when AbSoul is being silly, he's still entertaining as all hell. So despite this album's problems, I'm going to give it a light 7 out of 10 for some truly great songs and no truly awful ones. Nice job, AbSoul. Looking forward to hearing more from you in the future. And next time we'll be taking a look at our first official 2017 album. If there are any other albums coming out in January, please post them in the comments so that I can have a look at them and maybe review them. Also, the votes are in and my next top 10 list has been written, I just need to film it. Spoilers, I'm going to get angry, so please subscribe so you don't miss a thing. And until then, I'm Finn, and this is The Social Tunes, signing off.